Hello, I'm Kevin Mills, and I love real estate. I know it sounds like I'm standing up in front of a real estate anonymous meeting, but it's true. I love real estate. I love real estate investing. I love talking about real estate and real estate investing. If you know me already, you know that. If you don't know me, I'm telling you right now, I love real estate. I co-host the Investor Guys Real Estate Podcast with my longtime friend, Bill Barnett. I host, it is now a podcast, but I started as a radio show back in 1998, the Investors Real Estate Radio Show that is available weekly. And I have just started a few weeks ago doing Really Kevin Real Estate. My wife tells me that I will reach more people if I do this more informally and one-on-one. So here I am today following her instructions to the letter, wearing a t-shirt from one of our sponsors, Absolution X, absolutionx.com. Absolutely check out their clothes. They're very cool, very comfortable, very soft shirt. It is printed into the material. It is not printed onto the material. Great design here. This one is from the Top Hats collection. absolutionx.com. Make sure you check them out, absolutionx.com. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to dive into something that is not only fun, it's fun to think about, it's fun to dream about, and it's actually fun to do. It's a great real estate investment strategy. A lot of people call them Airbnb properties, investing in Airbnb properties. But Airbnb is just one resource that we use to market these properties. Technically, they are called vacation properties. Now, in the next week, I'm going to also be covering this same topic from different angles and approaches on my Investors Real Estate Radio Show and Really Kevin Real Estate. Best way to keep up on what is going on with all of these different programs and resources is go to reallykevin.com. Reallykevin.com. Lots of resources there, lots of coaching. I even have programs, and within the next couple of weeks, there will be a program, step-by-step program at reallykevin.com on how to get started in purchasing vacation properties, or if you want to, Airbnb properties. So check that out, reallykevin.com. Let's get into it. Who wouldn't want to own a property in a location where people want to go to relax and have fun, right? But here's the thing. It's not just about the sun and the sand and the location. Vacation properties can be a cash cow, a gold mine that offers lots of benefits of ownership if you know what you're doing. Let's start with why you should consider investing in vacation properties. I'm going to get straight to it. Vacation rentals are more than just cute beach houses and mountain cabins. They offer a very serious cash flow opportunity. They are like ATM machines on the beach. With platforms like Airbnb and Vrbo, it is so easy for us to list these properties for the entire world to see. And there's not a whole lot of people on this planet who don't already know, but there are a lot of people who are getting into this niche of investing in vacation properties because there are so many different benefits to it. Now, I don't want to worry you about all the moving parts. I'm going to cover that a lot today. And as I said, I will work on getting a step-by-step program up at reallykevin.com. But let's talk about what's important. Things like what makes it profitable, how to get started, and real talk about what you need to look out for and what you need to be aware of. Let's talk about what everyone wants to know. How do you actually make money with vacation properties? That's why we're here, correct? That, and maybe we can go use some of our vacation properties. I will get to that as well. It's pretty simple. Short term, or what is often called nightly rates, is the reason we make so much more money on vacation properties versus long-term rentals. When you compare vacation rentals to long-term rentals, the biggest advantage is we can charge significantly more per night or per week for that matter, especially in tourist hotspots. And we can pull a month's worth of rent in just a couple of days if we have the right property in the right location and we know what we're doing. Couple of key perks to that is this is cash flow on steroids. Yes, I said it, cash flow on steroids, especially if you're in a place that has a season. In high season, your rental could be fully booked and bringing you more than you would ever get from a traditional lease. I'm going to give you an example. We have properties in vacation hotspots that give us a 200% plus annual return on our investment. That's 200% plus on our investment every single year, profit, cash in our pocket. That's pretty significant, but get this, that is not rare. That is not every once in a while. That is pretty much par for the course if you are purchasing in the right areas, if you're purchasing the right properties, and you're doing it the right way. Obviously, we're not paying cash for these properties. We're using leverage. So cash on cash, 200% plus annual return on our investment. We are getting those types of returns, even considerably greater returns on properties that we have in vacation hotspots like Orlando, Miami, Key West, Florida, and other locations. Beyond the cash flow, beyond the money in our pocket, and it doesn't really need to get better than that. It does. There are tax deductions galore. Owning a vacation rental comes with perks like being able to deduct your property expenses. Think maintenance, mortgage, interest, even the cost of your trips, your vacation to go check on the property. Yes, this is a business that you own. You can take a trip and spend a week or two. We book time on our Airbnbs and when I say Airbnbs, our vacation properties, and we book our own time. And we're able to pay for our travel there and much of our food and other things as well, and use it as a expense, a business expense, because we are going to check out our business asset, our business that brings us money. And it is 100% legal. Bonuses. Think about owning a property in one of your favorite vacation spots that you can use not only for free when you want to for a week or 2 weeks or however long you want to go. It pays for itself, and the trip that you take there, your travel time there, much of your food and some of your other expenses while you are there are a tax write-off. They're a business expense. Cash flow, writing off vacations, does it get better? It does. Like anything else in real estate, you have long-term appreciation. Anything what we own long enough, we are going to build appreciation because it's going to go up in value. We are also going to be paying down that mortgage with money that we make from that particular property. So other people are paying our mortgage for us. So the value of the property continues to go up and increase in value. We're adding wealth to our portfolio. In a bit, I'm going to share some locations you should be looking at that are better than some that are better than others. But you really need to do your homework and figure out where you want to start. There are places that you're going to like. Do your homework, see if those make the most sense. There might be places that make more sense. You need to decide why you're buying these, though. Is it just cash flow, or is it because you want to be able to take a vacation there yourself and it will pay for itself and put money in your pocket? Those are things you need to figure it out.
Absolution X. Lifestyle apparel like no other. Only at absolutionx.com. Get yours.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with Cayman K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire Cayman K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at caymank.com.
Awaken your potential and harness the strengths of your inner self. Online courses that you complete at your own pace. Set and achieve all of your goals. Packed with an ever-growing catalog of information, resources, learning programs, weekly recorded coaching sessions, podcast, posts, and more to keep you on track for your best life. Because the only person who can guarantee your success is you. www.reallykevin.com.
Let me give you an example. You're in Fort Lauderdale. You're in the location, you're in the city, but you're 8 miles from the beach. Vacationers renting your property would not have the convenience of being able to take a short walk or bike ride to the beach. And everything that's going on in Fort Lauderdale is going on at the beach. It's certainly going to make more people consider locations that are closer to what they're going to be doing in Fort Lauderdale than perhaps your location. And your property is going to move down on their list of properties that they are most interested in renting. In order to be competitive and compete and attract vacationers, you're going to need to charge less for that property to entice them to consider your property over others that are more convenient. By the same logic, if you invested in a property that was in a more desirable location, say closer to the beach, you would have more demand and you could charge more. Make sure you consider those things when you're considering not just the location, but what there is to do in that location. Why do people go to Fort Lauderdale, for example? Why do people go to different locations? Try to be closest to where most people are going to be going. I'll give you an example. We have a lot of properties in Orlando. There are things to do all over Orlando. Disney gets more visitors from around the world than any other spot in Orlando. So we try to have properties closer to Disney in the Kissimmee area, basically South Orlando. From that location, is it easy to get to Universal Studios? Is it easy to get to SeaWorld? It absolutely is. Is it a little bit of a drive to get to Legoland? It is. But if I put properties at Legoland, there are fewer people who go to Legoland. And yes, I could still make money, but the demand for my property wouldn't be as great. So let's talk about choosing a location. Orlando. I love Orlando because there is a year-round demand. We want a place where people visit all the time, or at least where there's a really, really strong high season. Think beach destinations like Martha's Vineyard, Myrtle Beach, or think things like ski resorts. Okay. There's a high season, there's a low season. Absolutely. Big cities with lots of tourism like New York, Chicago, Dallas, great locations. Let's dig a little deeper. Let me give you an example. Ski resorts are great, especially if you yourself like to ski. Understand, though, that while demand might be through the roof during ski season, the demand is likely going to be in the cellar during the summer. There are places like Park City, Aspen, and Vail that do have interest in the spring, summer, and fall, such as mountain biking, hiking, sightseeing, and other things that you can do in those areas. But the overall demand in the off season is still considerably less. And then consider places like Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. Beautiful, vibrant, busy places in the summer, but they are virtual ghost towns in the winter. Let's talk about some of my favorite spots, and I'll tell you why they're my favorite spots. And we've already talked about it, Orlando. You have Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, Legoland, and lots of other entertainment venues in Orlando. You also have the Orange County Convention Center, also known as the Orlando Convention Center, which trades off with the Las Vegas Convention Center for being the busiest convention center in the country, I think in the world. All of these factors mean huge year-round demand for vacation rentals in Orlando. There's plenty of room for more vacation rentals in Orlando. Moving down my list, and keep in mind, these are my preferences. This is my list. Do your own research, figure out which destinations make the most sense for you. But moving down my list, I love South Florida. We actually live in South Florida now, but I was investing in South Florida for decades before we moved here. When I say South Florida, I mean Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beaches, and another location, which I'm going to get into in a little bit, which is South Florida, but it's a little further south, and you probably already know what I'm talking about. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, even the Palm Beaches, amazing beaches, nightlife, entertainment, festivals, shows, just everything going on year round. There are plenty to attract visitors in what is an off season, because we do have a peak season, but we are busy year round. When it starts to get cooler up north, starting around October and going into late April and early May, we have what is called snowbird season. And that is where the people from the north come down and they descend upon us, and everything changes for those months. So we have year-round demand, but we have an even greater demand during the winter in South Florida. Let's talk about my next South Florida location. It's one of the places that we love to go for vacationing ourselves. It's probably the place we vacation the most since we've come to Florida. And it's very, very, very South Florida. It's the Florida Keys. I especially prefer the southernmost Keys from about Marathon south. Marathon is one of the Keys if you're not familiar with Marathon, with the Keys. I actually personally really, really like Marathon. Marathon is close enough to Key West that a lot of people stay in Marathon and they'll drive down to Key West. We do that ourselves. Marathon has still got a lot of affordable properties that you can get for Airbnb, and there's a lot to do on Marathon as far as the types of things that you would do when you go to Key West or the Keys, other than being in Key West and drinking and going bar hopping and other activities that are just unique to Key West. That isn't to say you couldn't be scoring great rentals with northern locations like, say, Key Largo or some of the northern Keys. Those are three of my top picks, but I also like Daytona Beach. I also like the Gulf Coast of Florida. And of course, I like Lake Tahoe, Las Vegas, and a number of different ski resorts. Again, put your own list together, weigh all the pros and cons of each, but definitely consider what is going to have your best possibility for year-round income.
Absolution X, limited editions, lifestyle apparel like none other. Get yours today at absolutionx.com.
reallykevin.com. Weekly recorded coaching sessions. Learn, grow, find resources, opportunities and more. You'll find it all at reallykevin.com.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with Cayman K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire Cayman K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at caymank.com.
I based my list on a number of different factors. First, obviously, was income. What properties and what areas are going to provide me with the greatest return on my investment? And again, sometimes we can find properties in markets that have a peak season that are going to pay for the property year round, even though we have a low off season. But we're also going to be able to find properties that have a very strong year round demand that also may have a peak season. If you have an Airbnb rental or a Vrbo rental or vacation property in, say, the city of New York, you have a year-round base to pull from, but you don't necessarily have a peak season when more people are going to be there. There may be some highs and some lows based upon what's going on in the city, whether it's a game or a show or a convention or something like that. But overall, you don't have a peak season in those types of locations. Whereas if you're at, say, Myrtle Beach or Martha's Vineyard, you absolutely do have peak seasons. Also, keep in mind, you could be spending a lot less somewhere else and still be getting a great return. The other consideration for me on my list is, where do I want to spend time? Where do I want to be able to block a week or two and use the property for my very own vacation? And lastly, My rentals are in markets where I have familiarity with the market and the area. They're places where I've spent time before, enough time that I know what's going on. I know the type of people that are in the city. I know the type of people that are in the area. I have a familiarity with my property manager and how they do business. I have a lay of the land, so to speak. Check out the vibe. The amenities that you offer for your property can make your property stand out. Is it close to restaurants? Is it close to shops and tourist attractions? Does it have killer views, or maybe it's got a great hot tub? We have bikes and bike locks at some of our places. We also have kayaks at other properties, and we have surfboards at other properties. Let potential renters know all of that when you list the properties. We also let potential renters, because again, these are places that we like to go. We let them know about the area, including some of our favorite restaurants and places that we patronize and things that we like to do and check out when we are there ourselves. All of that matters. Remember, presentation, presentation, presentation in order to boost your location, location, location. So let's talk about financing these properties, because this is not going to be your primary residence. So it's going to be a little different. Once you've found the perfect spot, it's time to talk money. How do you pay for it? Vacation properties are not like buying regular homes. Lenders look at them differently, and they have some hoops that you're going to have to jump through because they don't consider it your primary residence. You're going to have a bigger down payment. Now, when I say a bigger down payment, if you're going to have the traditional mortgage, expect a bigger down payment. Lenders tend to see any properties that aren't your primary residence as a higher risk. Now, again, higher down payment is relative. Investors can typically get funded on a traditional loan, a traditional mortgage, with 20% down, and you may even be able to do it with less. There are lots of investment types of loans that you can get that will give you between 15 and 20% equity position, which is your down payment. Make sure you put together at least a pro forma to show the bank, and there's a very good likelihood that they will also consider potential income from this property / business in the process of qualifying you for the loan. So put together a pro forma, what you expect to be able to earn from this property based upon research and information that is valid that you have pulled from that market, from that area, from that particular property maybe. Get creative with your financing. If traditional financing isn't your thing, you have other options. You can partner with somebody. You can find other investors to work with. You can use platforms like Fundrise or peer-to-peer lending. Ultimately, the point is, this is a great investment strategy, and there are ways for you to make it happen. Lastly, not lastly, but moving on the list, remember this is a business. Okay, you want to manage your rental like a pro. You've bought the vacation property and you're ready to start renting it out. Now, this is a fun period for everybody, but it also can be very frustrating. Managing the property, this is where you either make money or lose it. So are you going to do it yourself, or are you going to hire a manager? I'm going to get real with you personally. Do you want to deal with all of the bookings of the guests? Any issues they have? Are you going to want to coordinate with the cleaning crew to get in there to clean it? Are you going to want to clean it yourself? A lot of you are saying yes. For me, unless you are already a professional property manager, I doubt you have a clue about what you're looking at in undertaking this type of a task. If you're doing it yourself, it is very likely it's going to be a nightmare. Property managers are people whose business it is to manage properties. This is what, for whatever reason, they want to do, and you can find a professional property manager that can manage your property and the demands that come with that property and do it well. Myself, I prefer to let property managers do their thing. I prefer to let property managers take care of all of it, and I don't have a problem paying their fee. Typically, it's 10%. Don't let the fee word scare you. When you run your numbers, account for your management fee. If you're purchasing the right property in the right place, you've run your numbers, you're doing it the right way, you're doing it correctly, you should be able to put money in your pockets while still paying the business expenses of a property manager. Let's talk about standing out in the market. If you're listing your place on Airbnb or Vrbo, make sure you're grabbing vacation browsers' attention. You need to make sure you've got great photos. Make sure that your place looks like the photos, okay? Otherwise, you're going to get bad reviews. But have a great looking place that people want to spend time at and take photos of it and show it off. Also, make sure you have a killer description pointing out all of the plus things of your particular property and why people want to stay there. Amenities, nearby points of interest, anything that makes your property stand out and stand above all of the others that are already on there. You absolutely have to make sure that you have the best listing. Okay. You can have a property that's just like everybody else's, but if your listing is better, more people are going to consider your property. If you've got it, flaunt it. Highlight everything that sets your property apart. Let's talk about some of the common pitfalls that you're going to run into with vacation properties.
Absolution X. Limited editions. Seek your absolution. Lifestyle apparel like no other. Only at absolutionx.com.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with Cayman K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire Cayman K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at caymank.com.
Awaken your potential and harness the strengths of your inner self. Online courses that you complete at your own pace. Set and achieve all of your goals. Packed with an ever-growing catalog of information, resources, learning programs, weekly recorded coaching sessions, podcast, posts and more to keep you on track for your best life. Because the only person who can guarantee your success is you. www.reallyKevin.com.
Common pitfalls. It's easy to get excited about all the money you could make, but make sure you slow down. Make sure you realize vacation rentals come with their own challenges. Let's talk about what can go wrong and hopefully how you're going to be able to dodge those problems when they come up. Seasonal lulls. Again, if you're looking at the right property in the right place, this is something that you're already aware of. Depending upon the location, you might have months where things are slow. Be prepared for this and have a plan for the off season. Maybe you rent it out for longer stays or offer discounts, whatever it is that's going to keep money coming in your pocket. Even if you're paying for this property with your up season, with the seasonal demand, having money coming in during off season, even if it's just short-term stays, long-term stays, stays that are a lot less than what you would charge during market, you still have money coming in. Money is money. The more we can get, the better. At least for me, I'm happier with more money. That's why I invest in real estate. Don't overestimate your earnings. Don't base your income on what you are able to get for the season, for the up season. Don't then calculate that time, say 12 months, okay? Because you have cycles that you need to account for. Don't overestimate. It's easy to look at the high nightly rates and think you're going to be raking cash in every month, hand over fist, but don't forget to factor in all of your costs. Do your numbers, cleaning, repairs, utilities, maintenance, management fees, taxes, insurance, mortgage, and vacancy periods. That's time when there's not going to be anybody there at all. And you can calculate all of that before you acquire the property. Account for all of those, and you should still be making a profit. If you're not, move on, find another property. It's that simple. I've covered the topic before, this exact topic on Investors Real Estate Radio, Really Kevin Real Estate, and we've also discussed this in length, multiple different episodes with the Investor Guys podcast. I also have more information on this exact topic at reallykevin.com, including a step-by-step course, reallykevin.com, on becoming a vacation property investor. Make sure you check that out. Also, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow so that when I release more of these videos, you'll be in the loop. We'll do these live if you want. Put your comments and your questions into the comment section right here. We'll get them answered. Other people from the community can answer them. That's going to wrap it up for today. If vacation properties sound like your thing, I hope you're walking away today with some real actionable insights. Don't forget, it's all about doing your homework, running your numbers, and making smart decisions. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, keep your eye on the market and keep your eye open for new opportunities. I will catch you on the next time. I look forward to seeing you then.